future is, but it'll never be our past. In a distant 10-year world, we'll never ever change the past.
Hey everybody, it's Fight Club Hubs. Thank you for joining us once again on GVN Live. With me is Jan and Mr. Mark B. Writing. And how are you two today? We'll start with you, Jan. Okay, moving on.
Snow everywhere. It's fantastic.
Well, that's what you get for moving out west. So.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, your guys are the places where it snows the most. People are way more equipped to handle that than the East Coast and Texas. It's like, oh, we got a sheet of ice in Texas. Okay, we're gonna shut down the entire government.
Oh, Tennessee was the same way. Like, but I'm from Colorado. Like, I'm used to this shit. I don't give a fuck. Let it snow. I don't care. Everyone else can just not drive. I'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, the only thing I have to worry about is idiots when it snows. It's like they see snow for the first time and they got to suddenly drive like it's 20 miles an hour on the highway. I'm like, it's not sticking to the road.
It's like they're from California or something.
Anything you've been playing lately?
Apex, Anthem, and I just picked up God Eater 3 the other night, so I'm playing through that now.
Yeah, we gotta play it at some point.
What was that last one game you said?
God
God
Eater
Eater
3.
3.
God Eater. Oh yeah.
Anime Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I know about God Eater. I forgot it was coming out already. And Mr. Mark B. Writing, how are you today, sir? And what have you been playing?
I mean, I'm doing okay. I have a cup of decaf, so I'm alright.
Decaf? I don't know you.
Oh.
Listen, it's 9 o'clock at night. Okay? It's 9 o'clock at night. I have anxiety, so I can't have, 15 cups of coffee anymore. I have 1 cup of regular coffee in the morning. That's it.
Mm-hmm. That is why
I've become one of those people who likes the taste of coffee for some shit-awful reason. So now I have decaf. It's terrible. It's good because I like coffee, but it's fucking terrible.
I mean, hey, to help out my anxiety, I've cut my caffeine intake by three quarters. For 2 weeks now, I've only had 1 energy drink a day. That's down from having 4 a day. I remember Jan's.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. I'm really happy for you. That's actually a huge deal because I know how much you've been you've been fighting with that. So I'm really happy that you were finally able to start getting that down. I'm actually. I'm
thinking next week I'll probably try going without caffeine every other day or at least half a week. Because when I did
every other day is probably better.
Because when I went from 4 to just 1 the next day for 3 days straight, I've had some pretty bad headaches.
Yeah, don't do that.
And I actually got dizzy.
Yeah, don't cold turkey caffeine.
I wasn't cold. Yeah, I didn't cold turkey. That's why I would have an energy drink in the middle of my work shift just to keep me going. It also makes the Tylenol move a little faster.
Kinda, yeah. That's why they say to eat food when you take medicine.
Mm-hmm.
The only game that I've been really playing over the past couple of weeks has been Super Robot Wars 5. V. Super Robot Wars V.
Yes, V.
I keep forgetting it's a fucking letter and not a number.
Thanks,
yeah,
Neptune.
yeah. They released 3 of them with a 4th coming in a month. That are PS4. That are translated to English. So
really?
Yeah, you can get them on play. They have Asian English versions available at PlayAsia. You can buy.
Well, I didn't get it.
I knew about the I already knew about the SEA versions. The SEA versions are not what he's talking about. These are US released versions.
No, they're the SEA versions. They're the SEA versions.
They're just releasing the SEA versions on the PlayStation Store.
No, I bought it from Amazon.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
okay.
Fine, then.
Yeah, it's $60. It's
they're releasing
$60, whatever.
Yeah, no, for sure. The fact that they're finally able to actually get them to us, that makes me really happy because if they're starting to actually release those, so that means that the Tyson games are going to be coming out soon. And I'm like, because those are the ones that have the huge combination rosters. Kind of excited for that.
Well, right now I bought V. There's one that's a remake of J. X is coming in the next like month or so, and then there's like
Ooh.
a fourth one that I can't remember the name of. That
X is fantastic.
yeah, I bought V just because it was like the one everybody had talked the most about, and so far it's a lot of fun. I've never I played like the DS one and one of the Game Boy Advance ones, and they were fine, but like this game is absolutely fucking gorgeous, and the sheer amount of effort they put into creating combat scenarios that are unique for every possible combination of mech suit and enemy that you could have is just great. The amount of dialogue customization that's in there is great. Plus, you know, they've got Martian Successor Nadesco in it. They've got Ghetto Robo in it. They've got Full Metal Panic in it. They've got, it's just like so much stuff that I actually know. Like I don't know anything about Gundam Crossbones, though I know who Seabook Arno is, so that's whatever. But the fact that it's built predominantly off of the story of Space Battleship Yamato 2099, 2199 is like, hell yeah, I'll play as the fucking Yamato and blow up people while fucking Transor Z, Getter Robo, and a bunch of Gundams follow me around the nuke shit. Even fucking Evangelion is in it, and I've seen clips from that one, and I'm like, oh god, they actually make me like Shinji in this. I don't know how I feel about that.
And now, here's a question. I played only one of the Super Robot War games, and that was for the Game Boy Advance, the Super Robot Wars OG Saga. Is the gameplay similar to that?
It's a turn-based strategy game. It's 100% similar.
Okay.
Almost all of them are identical in playstyle.
Okay. Anything else, or is that what stole your attention for the time being?
I mean, I played some Metro Exodus. That's fine. If my anxiety gets cleared up enough, or my anxiety issues get cleared up enough, I will, at some point or another, probably make a video talking about my thoughts on that, but as of this point, it's fine. I am surprised that so many people relied on it to be like a big thing when the previous games weren't, but it's fine.
But like it's Metro, but I think the reason why this one was so specifically just like in everyone's face is because of how the whole Team Epic whatever hoo-ha nonsense happened. I think that's the only reason why people even thought it was going to be a big deal. I was just like, ooh, it's not going to be on Steam. It's got to be good.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even just that. Like, they presented it like it was a huge deal AAA release in comparison to the other releases, you know? So you're in a situation where, oh, they, you know, transferred it from Steam to the Epic Store. And, oh, there's a big special edition physical release for this that includes a statue of Artyom. And, oh, the Xbox One straight up has a fucking custom console built around this thing. Surely this game is a big deal. And I'm like, I like it.
Not right.
Yeah, it's good, but just I don't know. Oh yeah, so the 4 Super Robot Wars games are OG The Moon Dwellers, which came out in 2016, and is predominantly based around J, GC/XO, the beginning of 3rd Super Robot Wars Alpha, and Great Battle 2. Then there's the one I'm playing, which is V, which is just V. The 3rd game was X, which came out in 2018, and the final one that's coming out in like a month is going to be T.
Oh.
That's also going to be on the Nintendo Switch. It marks the return of Mobile Fighter G and Gunsword. Magic Knight Rayearth is coming back.
Stop, Mark. You're making her way too excited.
Well, fucking X has goddamn Nadia, the Secret of Blue Water, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. They're bringing back the Rayearth mechs. Oh, man. I'm excited for that. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, V stands for Voyage, X stands for Cross, but also a term for Unknown, and T stands for Terra. So I'm like, all right. Oh, they're also going to be premiering Cowboy Bebop in T, which is like, okay.
We just lost her. She's looking it up right now.
Really? Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to get T. I'm going to have to get T. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going to have to get T.
Okay.
Seems really good.
Just to move things along real quick. I beat Kingdom Hearts 3 last week. Yay.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That ending fucking crushed me.
I got him. You know what? Okay, spoiler. I actually got kind of emotional when they finally had the reunion between Roxas, Axel, and Xeon. I was just like, oh my god, yay! It's weird that I got excited over that reunion more than I did anything else in the entire franchise. I was like, yay! And then you got all these people in Twilight Town like, hey, I know he doesn't exist, but I'd like to meet Roxas. I'm like, all right, finally, fucking happens. They just Deus Ex Machina his ass into the game at the very end, but whatever.
That's square. It's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's Nomura. Let's just put it that way.
More plot holes than Terminator 3. Speaking of which, that Cameron is going to make a brand new Terminator movie, and Terminator 3 doesn't exist. It's a direct sequel to Terminator 2. I mean, it's not gaming related, but I just wanted to say that.
Thanks, Highlander 2.
Other games I've been playing. I hopped back into some Monster Hunter GU. I've been playing that quite a lot lately. Finally got G rank last night and this morning in both single player and online. And I've been playing a lot of Tetris 99. I don't know if I've said that enough. You know, I probably harassed the crap out of you people saying, hey, I played Tetris 99. It's fucking crack. And, well, if it's Tetris, so we all know any Tetris in any variation, it's crack. I mean, hell, Tetrisphere is crack. So, moving on. So, today we are going to be talking about a couple of topics. Today's episode is going to be kind of short, so two of the main topics I would like to talk about, and we'll probably see if we can get around to talking about the third one. The two main topics I want to talk about is something that happened apparently today. THQ Nordic thought it was a great idea to go to one of the forbidden places on the internet and decide to do an AMA. And
Speaking about who's actually smoking crack.
Yeah. And the other topic I want to talk about is apparently Microsoft wants to be everywhere you want to be by bringing their games to you through various platforms. We talked about it briefly about how they wanted to bring Xbox Live on our last show to, you know, not just, you know, the Nintendo Switch, but to other mobile platforms as well. Well, now they want to bring their games and their cloud-based service to the Switch and mobile platforms. So I'll leave it up to you, Jen. Which one of those two do you want to start off with?
I said it last time. Microsoft is doing this as a power play.
It is.
The fact of the matter is, no longer are they worried about whatever next-gen console Sony is going to bring out. They're not worried about what kind of hardware the Switch is going to have. It has a mobile presence, which, let's be honest, Microsoft has always pushed the mobile platforms to its absolute limit, with things like making sure that laptops have even better integration with the Windows operating system. The Surface tablet, the Surface Pro for business. They tried phones. They didn't get that to go anywhere because, let's be honest, people are either going to end up being on iOS or they're going to be on Android because that's what's prevalent. So they decided, yep, nope, we're just going to stick with what we know works. And now they're sticking back to the idea of what they did. If you think back to sort of the conceptual idea of what Sega was trying to do with the Dreamcast, this has the same makings as what Sega did with the Dreamcast is what Microsoft is currently trying to do for their... At this point, it's not just games. It's the entire environment. Xbox Live is an entire inclusive environment on any kind of a device that you can think of. It means now you have this massive amount of interconnectivity. If this really is what they're actually going to be doing with it, then let's be completely honest here. This is basically them being like, Betamax didn't work, HD DVD was a flop, we're going to just go digital. And this is how they're going to beat all the other console makers are going to make. We have all of these great studios making all these amazing now first party console titles, and you can play them on anything.
Here's a question.
Except for Sony.
Yeah. Now here's a question. The rumor is that for some time that apparently the next console generation may be considered Microsoft's last console generation, with the strong emphasis on cloud computing, cloud gaming. The rumor of that they'll be releasing two systems: one that's purely digital with no optical drive, and a system with traditional optical drive. Does that, with Microsoft doing this power move, make it actually seem more feasible to that rumor?
No.
I don't think so. I think the idea that having two separate consoles, one with and one without an optical drive, is just a foot in the grave. That's a stupid decision. That's bad marketing, it's bad PR, and it's a bad idea in general.
Right,
You've
like
just
the
already
PC marketplace. The PC marketplace is absolutely supportive to a predominantly digital marketplace idea, but just because GameStop is shitting the bed does not mean that the console marketplace is at a point where they're like, okay, we're ready to go to the digital marketplace.
Right. I think a lot of it also has to do with the fact that you have this really great idea. You have a digital marketplace. You have a digital marketplace. You have a marketplace that's already in place, ingrained in your computer, that's made better by additional console market games that can now be played in a way that you probably never thought possible. This also means now that the only reason that Sony is worried is because of the fact that it's Microsoft. They kind of control how the PC market works. That's why they announced PS5 is most likely going to be backwards compatible all the way back to PS1 games. Yeah, absolutely, that's something that has to happen. If they don't conceptualize a system that's going to functionally do what it needs to do in order for it to be able to keep up with what Microsoft is trying to do right now, it's a power move. Like I said, this is purely a way of them trying to shift the balance of conceptual power from people who are playing games on a console to people who are just playing games. It doesn't matter where you're playing it now, because if logically, this is not a difficult step to make. Logically, if Microsoft and Xbox Live exists on literally every console, there's no physical console for Microsoft. It's just the environment that could be placed on as an app on any device. Because let's be honest, if it could be on the Switch, Android, and iOS, at some point, it can certainly make its way on Sony's console as well. Now you have this Xbox Live deal. Now you have this entirely secondary community. This is VoIP all over again. Like, this is TeamSpeak Ventrilo and then the introduction of Discord. Let's be completely honest here. It completely legitimized the concept of voice chat with integrated text chat. It legitimized the concept of group chatting in a specific manner. When they added video chat, which was the highest demanded product from Discord, into the actual program and made it feasible across the world with minimal issue, it completely killed off Skype. It completely killed off most other people's need for things like Ventrilo, TeamSpeak, Raid Chat, whatever it was that people were trying to use. Discord basically came in like a steamroller, laid down the asphalt, rolled over literally the entirety of the competition, and now they're basically like, this is what people want, this is what people use. You don't see people talking about, hey, what's your event info? Hey, it's like, no, give me a Discord link. Straight up, that's what everyone uses, from professional to a person who gets two people a night on their stream. Like, that's just how it works. Like, seriously, that's what people use to communicate in the gaming world now. That's what it is. If Microsoft has any balls to say that they're going to put this on the Switch, what's stopping them from basically saying, hey, Sony, you're going to end up doing this anyway. Regardless of your backwards compatibility, this is something you're going to end up putting onto your console. We're going to end up being the primary thing that everyone uses for them to be able to voice chat, to group up, and to play games together, regardless of whether or not you're using, a PC or a PS4. And the next step after that,
Okay.
hey, guess what I get to do? I get to play my Switch games on my computer.
There you go. With Nintendo letting Sony or Microsoft bring their stuff onto the Switch, do you see there any potential collaborations going on in the future between the two? I mean, not just crossplay, which is what's already been announced pretty much, with Minecraft being the first start of that, and Rocket League and all that. Do you see maybe, I don't know, Mario crossing over into Halo or something?
It would really depend on what extent Microsoft continues to be a hardware manufacturer, and to what extent Nintendo still views them as competition.
Mhm.
It's
Well-
one thing to allow Microsoft the ability to have an app on your store that does like chatting stuff and whatnot. It's an entirely different thing to collaborate with them on games. If Microsoft is still going to be like, well, we're still going to be a console manufacturer, they may look at Nintendo as a company they can collaborate with, but Nintendo still may very much look at them as a competitor, as somebody else who exists in the marketplace, who is directly trying to take your business away. And, it's why would you collaborate with somebody like that? Like, Microsoft may
Exactly.
look at Nintendo and say, the Switch occupies a different space that is doing different things, so we don't view them as much as competitors. But Nintendo may look at them and be like, no, we absolutely still view this as competition. We're absolutely not going to collaborate with you on this because it still directly impacts us if you do well, because if you do well, we do worse. So it really depends on Microsoft's ultimate business plan going forward. I definitely think there is a place for that sort of collaboration, but if Nintendo still views them as a threat, which they very easily could, if they're going to continue doing what they're doing as a console developer, that's not going to happen, I don't think.
Okay. Well, looking forward though, like with cloud Microsoft being a big advocate for cloud gaming, like what do you think they're gonna try to do first in regards to like putting onto a Nintendo Switch? Like, do you see them doing the what's the name of the their streaming service that you can
Game Pass?
Game Pass? Do you think they'll do that? Go straight off with that, with their collection of games that they currently have available, or do you think they'll do something like they'll bring maybe a few individual titles available to just be played as like, let's say, standalone download games?
See, here's the thing with that.
I think you're kind of getting ahead of yourself a little bit there.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Like, I think that is thinking you're at a point where you're probably 10 or 15 years in the future at this point. Because
You're
right now,
playing 5D chess at this point, and they're like doing like 4D chess. Like,
Well, I'm
no.
already looking at it like this because we already know that they're going to be bringing the Xbox Live, environment to mobile devices and the Nintendo Switch. The next logical step is Microsoft bringing their games to the platform itself.
if
Not necessarily.
No, exactly. I think it's the other way around. I think that the Microsoft Xbox Live application on the devices opens up a new avenue for multi-platform. I think it opens up the avenue for games that you may never have thought possible on these specific consoles are now going to be played everywhere in a way that makes sense because, like I said before, Microsoft is thinking mobile. They want everything small enough that you can take it with you to do whatever you want to with whoever you want to. Here's the catch. Microsoft knows that everywhere else in the world, they're all connected in some fashion, but they're all connected mobily. They are not connected in our homes like we are here in the United States. And they're trying to think more globally versus more locally, where Other companies are thinking locally rather than globally. This is why, and this is a pure aside, but this is a big reason why Nintendo of America tends to have a different point share for their consoles than Nintendo of Japan. And the reason for that is because of how Americans and how Japanese people are interconnected. American players play at home, play on a big television, maybe with multiple people in the same location, but that generally is how it works. In Japan, you're constantly on the move. You're constantly going everywhere. People have to stay connected, but they can't do it from home. A, limited space request. Two, they just don't want to be stuck at home all the time, every time they want to play the games. That's generally when you see them playing on a PC or on a PlayStation. But if they're out and about, they're on a DS or they're on their phone. Like, just period. Because that's the norm. So it's this sort of interesting conceptual idea of a company who we already know does not do well in Japan at all is trying to turn the US gamer into the rest of the world's gamers. And that, I think, is really where this is headed. It's not about library sharing. It's not about what games are going to be on what systems playable by what players. It's about making sure that they have a connectivity option that will allow for multiple people, not just in the United States, but globally, have the same access to the same games that they would already be playing on the consoles that are already being launched for. Because let's be honest, the only reason Microsoft is even thinking about going down this path in the first place, I hate the word. It's a dirty feeling, and I'm already feeling word like I feel a bile in the back of my throat just thinking about the word Fortnite. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Fortnite made this happen. If hadn't it been for Fortnite and the fact that these consoles were like, we don't want to crossplay. We don't. It was a scary word, crossplay. Yeah, not anymore. Microsoft's like, we've embraced this. We did it with Minecraft. Rocket League's a thing. Fortnite's a thing. All of these games have this conceptual idea of playing wherever you go. I can play it on my phone. I can play it on my tablet. I can play it on my Switch. I can play it on my PS4. I can play it on my computer. It doesn't matter where I'm playing. These games are available. That's what Microsoft is trying to do. They don't care about whether or not a library can be played on a specific location. Obviously, they're going to have first-party companies working on stuff. That's not an issue. The thing here is this is purely in the essence of understanding that Microsoft has to make some sort of a move, or they're just going to be the operating system that works on computers, and they don't want that.
Mm-hmm. So, looking forward, what do you want to see come out of this? Outside of just, better connectivity amongst, the masses? Like, do you want to see, Microsoft actually also putting their games on consoles? Do you want to see, let's say, improved communication for the Nintendo Switch using Microsoft's, Xbox Live platform? Do you what's running through your head?
Online Nintendo, PSN, Xbox Live. They don't all run smoothly at all right now anyway. But then again, neither does Steam, Origin, Epic. It doesn't matter what you play on. The infrastructure is going to be, realistically, mostly the same. Because they're all running on a server-type architecture that's running off of, a chassis with a multiple set of blades in it that's running all that information across it. That's not the issue. Interconnectivity is interconnectivity. It's about being able to actually have the ability to be connected. That's what they're shooting for. It doesn't matter who's playing what on where, because everything has a chance of failing, especially if it's popular. For instance, Anthem. Big release. All of the alphas, tons of connectivity issues. Why? Because Origin, even though it's EA, that's a dirty word too, by the way, doesn't matter. Because people still want to support BioWare, not because they're trying to support EA. Apex Legends is an absolutely completely out of left field concept that Respawn basically said,
Hey guys, EA didn't touch this game. It's okay to play it.
and it blew up. It's basically the best Battle Royale game out there right now. Everybody jumped ship from PUBG. Everybody jumped ship from Fortnite. Everyone's playing Apex at this point. So all of this push and all of this idea of a pro league for Fortnite is probably going to be out the window at this point for Epic, because Respawn basically just said, we're better than you. And that's just all there is to it, because that's exactly what happened. Yeah, this is going to get monetized. Get out of there. The baseline is that it doesn't matter.
What is that crinkling sound?
Not me.
Oh, okay.
That's my lychee candies, because they're delicious and you have to suck it.
No.
Ooh.
Wait, are you saying that you have to suck on the candy, or are you telling Robert to suck it because you're making noises in the microphone?
No, because of the candy.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear. I just wanted to be clear.
I think Mark is very disappointed right now.
I'm ambivalent. I am indifferent.
Mark,
Look, he's already made enough. He's made enough fun of you already. I think it's okay for me to go ahead and take a shot. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Honestly, like my long and short of all of this is basically that Microsoft has decided that they understand where the market is supposed to be going and how they want the market to go. There are three things that you have to take into account. One, yes, this is a power move. This is Microsoft basically saying consoles are kind of dead. Can't make it literally anywhere but the United States because people play at home. This is basically them saying, if we can't keep in everybody's home, we might as well try to make sure we stay on at least everyone's devices. And this is basically Microsoft saying, here's our swan song. If you don't like it, you're killing us. And that's the way it is. They're not putting it on them. They're not taking the accountability that they're the ones that are at fault for this. They're pointing the finger at the gamer. Does that piss you off? I don't know. Does it piss me off? We'll see.
Okay, any final thoughts on this before we move on to our next topic? Because I honestly can't think of anything to say. I just think it's a very fascinating thing that Microsoft is doing.
I don't really have an opinion on it one way or the other. I think it will be interesting to see where it goes like 5 years from now. But as it stands right now, I don't think that there's really a lot to say about it, to put it in the simplest terms, just because we kind of have to see where it goes. Like right now, there's a lot of, oh, that's interesting, but we have no idea what their end game is. And we can...
World
we can
domination.
speculate. That's always Microsoft's end game. I mean, their short-term end game. We have their speculation. We can definitely like look at stuff and just be like, well, it could be this, well, it could be that, blah 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 blah. But we don't know until it happens. So right now, it's very much a case where we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer just to see what else shakes out to get an idea of what direction they're going in. They may just be trying to create a platform where they can more readily collaborate with other companies, and all they want to do is be able to have multiplayer with Nintendo to help bolster them going into the next console cycle. They may be aiming to completely end development of hardware. They may be aiming to try and do hardware and software collaboration with Nintendo to drive out Sony. Who fucking knows? We're not going to know for at least another couple years. So for now, it's an interesting curiosity. When another plan piece gets announced, that's when there will be more to talk about and speculate on, I think, honestly.
One system to rule them all, and in the darkness, crush them. Oh, well. Okay.
Why are you just being dramatic? Why are you gonna be like that?
Because I'm a weirdo. We know this now. Anyway, moving on. But speaking of weird shit, I want to know whose idea it was for this one. THQ Nordic decided, oh, hey, let's do a questionnaire thing, and let's go to the darkest places of the internet and ask them. They decided to go to 8chan, a website that I only know by reputation. I don't go to these websites because, I'm not stupid. And, you can
Not
hear...
stupid in the kind of ways that involve you going to these sorts of websites.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's be clear. We're all stupid sometimes.
We're stupid sometimes, but I know where the darkness is. I stay away from the dark alleys. So 8chan has quite the reputation. It's probably a little bit darker than... You know what, Mark? Just explain to the people about the nature of 8chan, if you can.
So, we've all heard of 4chan, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's, many, many image macros and many, many websites that have quantified and qualified what 4chan is. There's most casual people on the internet know 4chan by reputation. 4chan as it actually exists at this point is mostly just an echo chamber full of alt-right dipshits talking about QAnon. But once upon a time, it was basically the place where you went, where everybody was anonymous, anybody could say whatever they wanted and do whatever they wanted. And it was kind of a wild west of the internet, and it was weird and different and gross. And all of the stuff that mostly came out of 4chan kind of stripped it down to the bare component of it just being a place where the actual racists went to hang out with the ironic racists.
Mm-hmm.
Go back a couple of years to 2014. We're gonna have to talk about it eventually, so let's talk about it now. Gamergate happened.
Mm-hmm.
The internet's answer to the Pinkertons basically tried to dominate 4chan with conversation about the fact that Zoe Quinn had sexual intercourse with more than one man. And 4chan administrators, for like the only time in their career, basically stepped in and were like, we're not going to be a fucking party to this, and started deleting conversations that were popping up about it. The people on 4chan, instead of quite reasonably concluding that doxing somebody and ruining their entire life is a terrible thing, decided censorship and moved to 8chan. 8chan is a website run formerly by a guy named Patrick Hot Wheels Brennan. Who is so named because he has some type of degenerative disorder that cast him in a wheelchair pretty much for life. The site was kind of sort of 4chan but worse, but has mostly become known in the intervening time period as two things. One, the actual haven of where the majority of Gamergate came from, because it was the only place where they were allowed to really talk freely about it that was a large congregation space. And two, child porn.
Yeah.
In 2014, Dan Olson did an expose on 8chan, basically showcasing that like they had gathered to an IRC channel from a child pornography hosted channel within 8chan, and were looking to trade links and information and all this other stuff. And they've claimed since that they have cleaned it up, but the website, like a picture was taken of the AMA today with THQ Nordic, and they were still advertising like lolicon shit. So they've just
the bad
they've
kind.
still
Let's be honest about that.
Mm-hmm. I took a brief
bad
glance at
kind.
that.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I'm of the mentality that most all of it is the bad kind, but when Jen says the bad kind, she means the kind that will probably end up with you in jail.
Right. The ones that ends up putting real little boys and girls in front of your eyeballs instead of the animated ones where you can never honestly tell whether or not you should probably just walk away from it anyway.
Yeah, David Wong once made a joke about 4chan that if you surfed 4chan for an hour, there would be child porn on your computer. Well, that's 8chan, except it's like 30 minutes.
Try more like 3, but either way.
I've honestly, that's one of the few places I will not go on the internet. I've been to 4chan. It's not really as bad as ever. I mean, it's bad for different reasons, but it's not, it's not the fucking den of inequity that everybody seems to think it is. It's just a bunch of alt-right dipshits jerking off about one another and porn gifs.
Yeah, pretty much.
I go for the porn gifs. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway,
Whatever. Everyone does it.
So 8chan has mostly stayed out of the public consciousness, predominantly because, child porn. It's not
Yeah.
cached by Google. You can't search for it. You have to know what the actual address is to get there. And it's not hard to figure out. I'm not going to pretend that it is, but you have to actually know how to get there because you can't find it by searching.
Right.
THQ Nordic, for reasons that I cannot even begin to understand, decided, and they said it, we're hosting an AMA on 8chan and we don't know why. And to which my response was, I don't either. And nobody really seemed to. So they ran the AMA about an hour and included the phrase "shout out to Mark" as one of their admins, which is just going to ruin my internet life for the next 3 to 5 years minimum. Like I thought, the room was bad. This is going to be worse. And then basically an hour later, they released a statement that was more or less, "We done fucked up and we're sorry." So they didn't even get through the whole AMA before they completed it. Of course, mind you, they also took the time to like a tweet from somebody who said that the people who were mad about it were just sensitive Susans. So maybe they're not quite as sympathetic to the whole thing as they think they are, or they're pretending to be. But the point is, within an hour they had apologized, and people are hella fucking mad.
So, here's the list of tweets as they happened. We're doing an 8chan AMA and we have no idea why. Come join us. The opportunity was here and we took it. We got approached by a very friendly and polite manner, and we were assured said person, shout out to Mark, will take care of the nasty stuff. So, here we are. 2 hours later, I personally agreed to this AMA without doing my proper due diligence to understand the history and the controversy of the site. I do not condone child pornography, white supremacy, or racism in any shape or form. I am terribly sorry for the short-sightedness of my decision and promise to be far more vigorous in my assessment of these activities in the future.
Yeah,
this was not about being edgy. This blew up, and I very much regret to have done it in the first place. Philip Brock, PR and Marketing Director, THQ Nordic, GmbH, Vienna, Austria.
Yeah, one of my friends was like, "That seems like a really lackadaisical response from a way of dealing with things from a PR person." And I was like, "Well, probably former now."
By the way, Monster.com has a new listing for PR person at THQ Nordic.
You're not just being facetious, right?
I'm being
That's
facetious.
hilarious.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if it happened.
I mean, my question is, how do you not Google this? Forget for a moment, maybe you only got into the games industry within the past couple of years. Gamergate has completely passed you by. You've heard nothing about 8chan by some act of God.
You had to be living in a pretty good bubble for that.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe you were 16 when it happened and you were not into games. Or maybe you were in college for PR. And you were whatever. And again, they're in Austria. That guy's in Austria. THQ Nordic is not necessarily entirely US based. At least their leadership probably isn't. So it's very possible Gamergate did not have the same kind of impact for them as it did for us. Okay,
right.
You completely missed all of it. How do you not just bang 8chan into Google, look at the first page of results, and realize, one, the actual website is not among them, and two, whoa, that's a lot of conversations about child pornography. Legitimately, how do you do that? Somebody's like, well, we got approached by this, we're just going to go do it. That's the thing that's the most frustrating to me about this. We live in an age where if you don't know something, just Google it. Just Google it. Literally, all they had to do was type 5 characters on the keyboard and then either press the search button or hit enter. And they could have known within seconds, we should not do this.
May I add to that?
Nobody involved. Sure.
Yeah, okay, so how easy is it to use Google for something? People on my timeline on Facebook are posting about the Momo challenge thing. You just just look it up, Momo challenge. It's apparently something that's been popping up on YouTube scaring kids. and
I hate you.
terrifying them.
Alright.
And well, I did a fact check, and it's apparently a kind of a prank, and the mass media is pretty much making it bigger than it really is.
Sure.
So, and I found that out just with a quick Google search. I did that in like 30 seconds. I'm like, that sounds too stupid to be true. Although, granted, about this time, a couple years ago, kids were trying to snort condoms and eat Tide Pods. So, I mean, anything's possible.
That wasn't happening either. That was all just bullshit made up by like some dipshits in the media, and it was kind of sort of carried on to legitimate media. Like, but the dipshit media was the one who mostly made that a thing. The condom snorting thing was something people did on like YouTube videos to like show that, you know, like to just be dumb. But people were not doing it as a major thing. And the Tide Pod eating, nobody was doing that. That was just another fucking thing that was made up by assholes that has since become propagated to, like, you know, dunk on millennials.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fucking, I don't know how many years ago it was that people were making up the lipstick thing, like lipstick parties, and that was fucking bullshit. You know, fucking people make this goddamn shit up all the time as, like, stupid scaremongering stuff. But the thing of it is that, yeah, we exist in a world where you can, or any information that you want from reputable sources is at your fingertips. You can find it in seconds. There are not a lot of people who are arguing in defense of 8chan. And you aren't going to find the majority of them on the first page or the second page or the third page of Google's searches. Most of the information that you're going to find is probably going to be stuff from places that are at least somewhat reputable who are saying, don't go there, it's really gross.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the first post is a Reddit post talking about 8chan.
Mm-hmm. It's probably their Wikipedia entry if I had to venture a guess. I would imagine that they have a Wikipedia. I honestly didn't look because, you know, I just didn't care to because I know enough about 8chan that I don't have to. But
Exactly.
Again, I heard through reputation by word of mouth, and I was just like, oh, so that's where the Hellspawn went.
Yeah, I just had to explain that to my friend Carl. He was like, I can't attend the show tonight, but what happened with the THQ Nordic? I was like, they went to do an AMA on 8chan. He's like, is that a bad thing? I'm like, they were delisted from Google for hosting child pornography. He's just,
Oh.
Like, yeah, just.
So you're kind of like,
like that's literally the only thing that you have to know about it. And like, the few people who exist who will defend 8chan will generally try to argue against all of the delisting there, like, they've taken strenuous efforts to clean it up. You know, there's a fucking link to Lolicon at the top of the page. Or, what Dan Olson did there was a honeypot. Yeah, we use that in information security. It's legal. Doesn't matter if you like it. It's still legal and it's still useful for purposes. You know, like, it's a bunch of stuff where they're trying to argue against the fact that 8chan was delisted for child pornography using arguments that don't actually change the fact that 8chan was delisted for child pornography. Like, fucking 4chan is still listed. 4chan is still listed. As bad as everybody says that place is, 4chan is still listed. 8chan is not.
Maybe it's worse than you think. Just saying.
A little bit. And it's just like I'm still just baffled. Like, a lot of people are ascribing value to the situation as saying, well, you know, these people picked up Kingdoms of Amalur after it was dumped, and Crusader Kings, and like a bunch of other stuff that kind of sort of has like an indication that there's some quasi right-wing leanings to the organization. So maybe this is them kind of showing their flag, and I'm like, nah. Like, here's the thing. You could do an AMA on R the Donald that would, you know, be fine in that kind of thing. You could do an AMA on like lots of places that would, you know, indicate that you have leanings that are a little bit more conservatively bent. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever that you would want to go on a website that has, and I keep bringing this up because it continues to be relevant, been delisted from Google for hosting child pornography. I don't care how much of a fucking internet shitlord you are. You don't do that.
Mm-mm. Like, so here's my thoughts on all of this. A company like THQ Nordic, who has recently, over the last 6 months or so maybe, already had problems from their PR department because of tweets and releases, press junkets that have come out that have been a little on the probably shouldn't have done that side of things. Then decide, I got a great idea. We're going to host an AMA, but we're going to do it on a website that we have no idea about. Why? Because we don't know, because we feel like that's the right place to have an AMA. Instead of being like, we're going to go to Reddit. We're going to go to Tumblr. We're going to go to Twitter. No. Places that people do these things on and are safe. Because people do these things all the time in these avenues. Hell, I'd even go so far as to say that they probably still could have gotten away with it doing it on 4chan and not had it been such a bad thing. But to put it out into a position where these guys have already had a bunch of red flags flying and this needle of their gas tanks slowly going from we're still hype about Cyberpunk to ooh.
No, different companies. Different companies.
Is it different companies? Oh, I'm thinking of
CD Projekt Red.
I'm thinking CD Projekt Red.
THQ Nordic's major thing is that they bought a bunch of properties, and none of the games that they produced from them have been particularly good. The Darksiders release that they just did was not very good.
No. Okay, I'm sorry. I was getting those two mixed up. I apologize. I do find it hilarious.
I do find it hilarious that like a bunch of people are like, hey, THQ Nordic, you remember all those fucking Nintendo, Nickelodeon games that you were doing? Yeah, not anymore.
So anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, I know where I was going with that. So you've got CD Projekt Red, who basically did a bunch of really stupid shit, right? Okay, that makes sense. THQ Nordic is like, who were you again? Why are you?
They're the remnants of a company that used to be glorious.
I look at it more of along the lines of this list. So you've got a company like CD Projekt Red who is doing dumb things and are kind of backpedaling a little bit. These guys are just kind of like, hey, so yeah, we're gonna go do this AMA, but instead of being intelligent about it, we're just gonna be like, you're just gonna go over here. I think it's fine, right? No, that's the smoke coming from the chimney seems totally like wood, right? It's fine. They walk inside and they look what's actually inside, and it's basically that gif of the guy coming back into his apartment with pizza in his hands, watching literally everyone burn and everything falling apart in his apartment. That's basically what happened today. These guys just kind of walked in and went, ooh, we are in the wrong building. I think we're supposed to be over here. Bye. And like slowly like inched their way out the door sideways. That's basically what happened today. And it's like, seriously? I don't care how out of touch with reality you think you are. I don't care. I don't care that you're from Austria. I don't. This is about as much information as you actually need. Literally, I can put it here. Porn of children. Done. Don't need it. Don't want it. Takes 2 seconds to find out, hey, this seems like a bad place. I don't care who approached us. This is probably something we're going to have to basically say no to until we can figure out how to do our own AMA on, like, I don't know. Probably still could have gone to Reddit and it probably would have been just as good. But hey, there it is. I don't know. To me, man, I hate to say that it feels like a publicity stunt because no one's paying attention to this company, but at the same time, it's like, yikes, you probably could have picked somewhere better to go if it was really a publicity stunt. Just saying.
Yeah. End of the day, THQ is probably the biggest. Mark, what do you think? Runner-up for Good Job Breaking It Hero Award?
So far, they're in the lead. I can't think of anybody else who's done worse than them this year.
Well, we're 2 months
But
in.
it's only
Let's give it
fucking
time.
February.
And
February.
it's only
It's only
2 days before the
February.
end of February. Yeah, things could go worse.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't think there's really much more we could say on this oops from THQ Nordic. So let's end the show here. Let's go ahead and plug what we got going on. Mark, you're streaming 2 days a week now. What's up there, buddy?
I'm just trying to do more than I have been doing. I had a psychiatrist appointment today to try and isolate why I've just been feeling really lazy and unmotivated, and hopefully I will be able to figure out an answer to that question so I can start doing more than I have been. Because, you know, like, I promised a video back in, like, October, and that never happened. And, like, I have scripts in my head or partially written down for, like, 10 different videos, and I just haven't done them, which sucks, and it's frustrating because I really want to do more things. I just have no motivation to do them. So the streaming doesn't really require a lot of effort from me. I just sit down and play games. So I've been trying to do more there a little bit, because at least that doesn't require as much work to try and, you know, just get myself doing stuff. So I'm streaming 2 days a week, Fridays and Saturdays. Friday, we are doing what I have termed Let's Play Friday, where I will just play a game through to completion. From so, like, I started it this past Friday with Fox Super Robot Wars V, and we'll play that until it's done. And then Saturdays, I alternate between just playing variety stream stuff and doing board game nights. So, you know, just trying to do what I can with the motivation that I have until I can get to a point where I actually want to start trying to properly make more content.
All right. And they can see you what times on Friday and Saturday?
Starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until I go to bed. Which is like 1 or 2 usually.
All right. And Jan, what do you got going on?
I'm still short and sort of like the Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. That's just sort of like the normal gig for me at this point. However, my schedule is changing again.
No.
Gotta love So it has been finally confirmed that I will end up being able to have Saturdays and Mondays off from my day job. So unfortunately, because of the time working on Tuesdays,
I mean, we
For
could
sure.
go back to Mondays. Well, never mind. I actually have my monster hunting on Mondays.
and that's what you said the last time too. So we can do Monday. Oh wait, I do my Monster Hunter stream on Monday. So
Yeah.
rip that idea.
Yeah, I mean,
Honestly, you guys do you. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to be around. It's just that for right now, I'm going to be doing 2:30 to 11 p.m. shifts, and Tuesdays just happens to be one of the days that I have to work going forward. So I'm still going to try to do my streams Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, just because like that's what I want to stick to anyway, because that's just the way I need to be able to keep myself consistent. And yeah, I'm just going to keep going from there. So I'll be around. I'll still be on the show every once in a while. It's just a matter of figuring out how to functionally make this work for a little bit until I can either get a different shift or find somebody who's actually willing to trade me so that I can actually get off a little earlier than 11 o'clock at night.
Okay. Well, for me, yeah, I still stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 vets and a noob. We're going to try and make an effort to get back on a regular stream schedule starting tomorrow. Today is, GVN Live. We missed last week because, well, let's be honest, it was a slow-ass news week and a couple of us weren't feeling too good. It really was. I don't think there was anything of newsworthy significance in that 2-week span. But the next episode of GVN Live will be on March 12th. So keep that in mind right there, 9 p.m. Eastern. Monster Hunting Mondays has been going on just fine. Usually we're playing until like freaking midnight or 2 in the morning, starting as early as 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So we're having a lot of fun there. Me as my co-host of Monster Hunting Mondays, we have been trying to push forward with the video game adaptation reviews. We have just released last week our review of crap, my head is. I'm so tired. I don't remember what I released. We did.
Go bad Hubs.
Yeah. No, we talked about Mortal Kombat last week. To see how well it held up as a movie. Check it out. It's on my YouTube channel, Fight Club Hubs. This is the channel name if you wish to look it up. And we are planning to do Prince of Persia next, the live-action movie based on the Sands of Time. And after that, we are going to try and move things along. April's going to be our first themed month. We're going to be covering The Legend of Zelda. We're going to actually do our first comic book review and talk about the cartoon series, of course, as well. So we'll see how that turns out. And that's about it. That's all I got going on. And from GVN Live, I'm Michael Hubs. Thank you for joining us tonight. And there's Jan. There's Mark. You all have a good night.